على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صل على محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويؤلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. زيارة آل ياسين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سلام على آل ياسين. السلام عليك يا داعي الله ورباني آياته. السلام عليك يا باب الله وديان دينه. السلام عليك يا خليفة الله وناصر حقه. السلام عليك يا حجة الله ودليل إرادته. السلام عليك يا تالي كتاب الله وترجمانه. السلام عليك في آناء ليلك وأطراف نهارك. السلام عليك يا بقية الله في أرضه. السلام عليك يا ميثاق الله الذي أخذه وبكده. السلام عليك يا وعد الله الذي ضمنه. السلام عليك أيها العلم المنسوب والعلم المسبوب والغوث والرحمة الواسعة بعدا غير مكذوب. السلام عليك حين تقوم. السلام عليك حين تغوت. السلام عليك حين تقرأ وتبين. السلام عليك حين تصلي وتقنت. السلام عليك حين تركع وتسجد. السلام عليك حين تهلل وتكبر. السلام عليك حين تحمد وتستغفر. السلام عليك حين تصبح وتمسي. السلام عليك في الليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى. السلام عليك أيها الإمام المأمون. السلام عليك أيها المقدم المأمون. السلام عليك بجوامع السلام. أشهدك يا مولاي أني أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله لا حبيب إلا هو وأهله. وأشهدك يا مولاي أن عليا أمير المؤمنين حجته والحسن حجته والحسين حجته وعلي بن الحسين حجته ومحمد بن علي حجته وجعفر بن محمد حجته وموسى بن جعفر حجته وعلي بن موسى حجته ومحمد بن علي حجته وعلي بن محمد حجته والحسن بن علي حجته. وأشهد أنك حجة الله أنتم الأول والآخر وأن رجعتكم حق لا ريب فيها يوم لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها لم تكن آمنت من قبل أو كسبت في إيمانها خيرا. وأن الموت حق وأن ناكرا ونكيرا حق. وأشهد أن النشر حق والبعث حق وأن الصراط حق والمرصاد حق والميزان حق والحشر حق والحساب حق والجنة والنار حق والبعد والبعيد بما حق. يا مولاي شقي من خالفكم وسعد من أتاءكم فاشهد على ما أشهدتك عليه فأنا ولي لك بريء من عدوك فالحق ما رزيتموه والباطل ما أسخدتموه والمعروف ما أمرتم به والمنكر ما نهيتم عنه فنفسي مؤمنة بالله وحده لا شريك له وبرسوله وبأمير المؤمنين وبكم يا مولاي أولكم وآخركم ومودتي خالصة لكم آمين آمين صلوات الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Imam Sadiq Islamic Center, where it is always an honor, a privilege and a pleasure to host everybody here this evening, and collectively we offer our condolences to the 12th Holy Imam and the entire Muslim Ummah on the very tragic and very sad shahada of our 6th Holy Imam, who is also known as Babul Ilm, Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam, and we offer that condolence with the warmest of our salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Indeed, Imam Ja'far Sadiq was had a very different life to many, most, if not all of the other Imams, where he had almost open opportunity and ample opportunity to teach and to preach, and almost, I think Sheikh will definitely correct me, almost every school and every institution of Islamic study is the result of Imam Ja'far Sadiq being able to do that teaching and to establish the seats of knowledge and be able to pass the godly and heavenly knowledge in whatever small amount he was able to do, so that we might be here and take advantage of all the things that we take advantage of today. Inshallah, Sheikh will offer definitely a great deal more perspective on that. But in the meantime, I will bombard your ears, unfortunately, with a few announcements that I'll keep brief, and we'll move on to the speech with Sheikh, inshallah. For any of our young brothers and sisters aged 4 till 12, we have classes upstairs. So please, if you are aged 4 to 12 or you have children aged 4 to 12, please take them up, send them upstairs to the classes. We have classes, inshallah, every Friday night or whenever the major programs are. So please, if you can, have your kids join those classes. The classes, inshallah, are more than just childcare or babysitting. There is a lot of education that happens in those classes. They are run by dedicated volunteers who also work in other parts of the center, and some with the schools, some with other centers in education as well. So take advantage of that. That gives you the opportunity to sit and enjoy the lecture and the program as well. And secondly, if you have younger children than that, please, we encourage you, and please respectfully ask that the mums use the glass room upstairs, where we have the audio coming through, and inshallah we usually have the video coming through as well. So please take advantage of these opportunities, and also be mindful of all of the other attendees at the center as well. Every week, inshallah, Tuesday evening, Dua Tawassul, Thursday evening, tafsir of Holy Quran with Sheikh Dehnavi, and that is followed by recitation of Dua Kumail. Throughout the week, there are, inshallah, other things happening. There's lots of avenues and places to get involved, to volunteer your time and effort and your expertise, inshallah. If you would like to do that, we'd be happy to hear from you. Please see myself, Brother Ahmed Rashid, Sister Farzan, or anybody else that looks familiar. We'll all gladly take your information and inshallah be able to leverage your skills and expertise as well. We have other major programs coming up in the next 2 months. Inshallah, on Sunday night will be the 1st of Dhul Qa'd, which means we are roughly 9 weeks away from the beginning of the month of Muharram. So if you needed to plan anything, now's the time to plan around that. And all of our Muharram programs, inshallah, will be published in the next couple of weeks, giving you all of the information about programs, timings, and inshallah, as well as speakers included. With that, and with 3 of your best and loudest and warmest salawat, please welcome Sheikh Dehnavi to speak on Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam's life this evening. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد آل محمد وعجل فرجه لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء صلوا على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا باستشهاد الإمام جعفر الصادق عليه السلام. I would like to offer my sincere condolences to our dear present Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, on the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the reappearance of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us among the true followers and soldiers of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us among the true Ja'fari people, inshaAllah, with Allah salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us, all of us, to gather here tonight to learn from the lifestyle and legacy of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Inshallah, tonight I'm trying to touch upon 2 aspects of the qualities of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. If you give me a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah. As you know, after the leadership of Imam Ali alayhi salam, especially at the time of Umayyad dynasty, a lot of things went toward wrong direction, and Umayyad dynasty was not practicing the true religion of Islam. And not only the people of Shia school of thought were not happy with that situation, even the people of other sects of Islam were not happy with that situation at that time. And that's why normally they don't call the Khulafa after Imam Ali alayhi salam Khulafa al-Rashidin, and even they don't call them Khulafa al-Rashidin. And one of the reasons that even the people of Umayyah were mentioning regarding the why we lost power why Umayyad dynasty lost the power, is because that they were thinking about expansion of the territory and collecting tax from people more than people and the religion of Islam. And that's why at that time a lot of people were thinking about revival. They were thinking that we should revive the religion of Islam. And that's why we have some movements after Imam Hussein alayhi salam's martyrdom. For example, at the time of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, Zayd ibn Ali had a movement because he wanted to have a political revival, political movement. Even at the time of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, you see Abu Muslim Khurasani, he wanted to bring a new group, Abbasi dynasty, to revive the message of Islam, and under the flag of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So, as you see, people were not pleased with that situation, and at that time, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he chose to stay in Medina. He chose to stay in the capital, and he didn't go to a place that he can live comfortably without any pressure from Umayyad dynasty. He chose to stay in Medina, in the hub of Muslims. He didn't want to go to a place that Umayyad dynasty, they don't check Imam and they don't monitor Imam. Purposely, he stayed in Medina, in the city of Umayyad dynasty. So there is a big discussion that why Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam stayed in Medina and he didn't go to another city, because easily he was able to go to a city to live there comfortably without pressure from Umayyad dynasty, without having any oppression from Umayyad dynasty, but he chose to stay in Medina. Because Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam knew that if he stays in Medina, he would be able to be influential, he would be able to be effective, he would be able to have more students from different places. And that's why you see Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam had 4,000 students. These students would come to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam regularly. And Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam would teach them. And they would not from the Shia school of thought, they would come from different sects of Islam. Some of them were like Shafi'i, some of them were from different sects of Islam. So in this situation, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam started to teach these students. But there is a very great point here, and this point is hidden. And inshallah, I'm going to touch upon this great point. What's that point? The point is that why these students who would come from different background, they would come to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, the Imam of Shia school of thought. And they would not stop coming. They would come continuously, and they would not stop at all. So there is a point here. So what was the secret or the key for the success of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam to gather these 4,000 students? The key is that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he was not forcing his mentality and his aqidah over the mentality of his students. He would treat them by love. He would bring in them toward Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, toward himself, by using love. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam would not using any language that they think that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam has a hidden agenda and he wants to use these psychological techniques to bring them toward the Shia school of thought. They would come to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he was treating them based on their madhab, based on their skills, based on their aqidah. And he was not forcing anyone to become a Shia person. That if you are not the follower of Imam Ali alayhi salam, so you're not allowed to participate in my lesson. He would not fight with anyone. He would love everyone. So that's why everyone was coming to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam to learn from the knowledge of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So now I would like to share with you some of the narrations regarding this matter, that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he gathered these students through love. A person came from Sham to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he said to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, I have some questions, and my questions are different questions. Some of my questions are related to kalam, some of my questions are related to jurisprudence, fiqh, some of my questions are related to like aqidah, theology. So I would like to ask you these questions. Then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam referred him for each question to one of his students, because Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam made his students expert to one specific subject. So each one of them was very expert and very knowledgeable in that specific subject. So he was saying to that Shami person, okay, for this question, I'm going to refer you to that person. Then that person said to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, I came to you. I want to ask you these questions. And then you send me to your students. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, you would tell him that my students can answer these questions. And then he was going to the students of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and they would win the debate and discussion. And then finally he became one of the followers of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And that's why we see not only the ordinary scholars, they would come to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, even the founder of other sects of Islam, they would come to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam to learn under Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. For example, we have Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa has a very famous statement about Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. He says, لولا السنتان لهلك النعمان. Abu Hanifa says, if I was not studying under Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, under the supervision of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam for those 2 years, لهلك النعمان, I would perish, and I would not stay longer. And Nu'man means Abu Hanifa. And as you know, Abu Hanifa is the founder of Hanafi school of thought. And he was the student of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam directly. And he's saying clearly that I was the student of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam for 2 years. And he's praising Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And one day, Mansur Dawaniqi, he summoned Abu Hanifa to come to a gathering that he had for scholars. And he told him that, Abu Hanifa, I want to ask you to prepare 40 hard questions and complex questions to come to this gathering and ask Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and I want you to embarrass Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Abu Hanifa said, it's impossible. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam is the most knowledgeable person. We cannot do that. But I can prepare 40 questions for you. It's easy. So for a few weeks, he was writing those questions. He was preparing those questions to ask Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So when the day came, he went to the palace of Mansur Dawaniqi, and all of the scholars were there. And when he entered, he felt overwhelmed by the presence of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, by the haiba of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And then even he mentioned that to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, that I'm feeling overwhelmed. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, yes, this is natural, it's okay, because we are coming from the family fi buyutan أذن الله أن ترفع. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who elevated us. You know, Mansur Dawaniqi, he was promoting other scholars, and he wanted to embarrass Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, but he didn't know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants this family to be elevated. So he started to ask questions from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, for the answer of each question, was saying, أنتم تقولون كذا وهم يقولون كذا ونحن نقول هكذا, for example. Yani, the people or the scholars of Medina, this is the opinion. The scholars of Iraq, this is the opinion. And this is my opinion. So Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam had the knowledge of different opinions. And then he was saying his opinion at the end. And then he asked all of the questions from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and the one who was embarrassed in that gathering was Mansur Dawaniqi. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the founders of another school of thought of Islam is Malik ibn Anas. Malik ibn Anas is the founder of Malikiyun. They are in Africa. And even Malik ibn Anas has a statement about Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he was the student of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam directly. So Malik ibn Anas says, no eye has been seen, and no ear has been heard, and no heart has ever comprehended someone who is more knowledgeable than Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And one of the stories that Malik ibn Anas mentions that regarding the lessons that he got from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that whenever I was going to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam to learn, normally Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam was sitting on a rug. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam would offer his rug to his student Malik ibn Anas. Malik, please come and sit down on this rug. And it shows the love that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam had toward his students. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam knew that Malik ibn Anas is from another madhab, but he would offer his rug, and he would offer that carpet or rug to Malik ibn Anas. Even Imam Shafi'i, even Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they were the students of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, not directly, indirectly. Because as you know, Imam Shafi'i was the student of Malik ibn Anas, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal was the student of Imam Shafi'i. So all of the schools of Islam, if you look at it deeply, they all come from one source, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam not only was teaching his students about Islamic knowledge, even he had a student by the name of Jabir ibn Hayyan. And I'm sure that you know this is student of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he's known as the father of chemistry now. Yeah. So Jabir ibn Hayyan has a lot of books. Even now, when you look at the books of Jabir ibn Hayyan, at the beginning and introduction of his book, he says, حدثني جعفر ibn Muhammad. And even Jabir ibn Hayyan, when he wants to share his knowledge with us or with others, he says that this narration that I'm talking about is coming from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam was the source of knowledge. There is another story from Mufaddal, and I'm sure that you are familiar with the book of Tawheed Mufaddal, one of the students of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, that one day Ibn Abil Uja' came to Mufaddal, one of the students of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he was asking him some questions about Tawheed, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and monotheism. And then Mufaddal got angry a little bit. Then Ibn Abi al-Awja said to Mufaddal, "Oh Mufaddal, who is your teacher? And who you follow?" And then Mufaddal said, "I'm following Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. I'm the student of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam." Then he said to Mufaddal, "Oh Mufaddal, you know, whenever I come to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he listens to us carefully. And he never got angry. And we have a lot of debate with him, but he listens to us carefully. And when he listens to us, we think that he accepted our opinion. And he listens in this way, respectfully, peacefully, and carefully. We think that he accepted our opinion, and we are happy. And then he brings his argument, and he brings his proofs, and then he convinces us easily. But he treats us peacefully, respectfully, and he never got angry. Whenever we had a discussion with him, he never got angry. You are not like your teacher." And then Mufaddal went to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam and told him the story. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam taught him a lesson, and we have a book now, Tawheed Mufaddal. Tawheed Mufaddal, and I think Dr. Abed is using this book when he wants to teach his students. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faj. So the lesson that we learned from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam is that, brothers and sisters, now we are living in an era that we are in interaction with other people with different religions. And you might have a colleague who's Christian, might have a colleague or friend who is Sunni or Jewish. So we need to learn that if we want to treat them, we should treat them with love, like Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam had 4,000 students, and most of them were not followers of Imam Ali alayhi salam. They were not Shia, but all of them, they loved Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and they would participate in the lessons of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And that's why when we look at the narrations of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, when he wants to describe the meaning of being a Shia person, how can we be under the category of Shia person? Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam doesn't say whoever worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more is my Shia, or whoever prays more is my Shia. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam talks about love, talks about honesty, talks about helping poor people. And in this way, he wants to describe the meaning of Shia. We have a beautiful narration from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. I would like to share this narration with you. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَضَعَ الْإِسْلَامَ عَلَى سَبْعَةَ أَسْهُمٍ الصبر الصدق اليقين الوفاء الرضا العلم الحلم. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam says Islam has 7 pillars. As-sabr, patience. As-sidq, honesty. Al-yaqeen, certainty. Al-rida, being pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-wafa, loyalty. Al-ilm, knowledge. Al-hilm, forbearance. And the difference between sabr and hilm is that hilm, you need to control your emotion when someone does oppression toward you. This is the meaning of hilm. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam continues, and he says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given these qualities to people. Some of the people, they have maybe one of these qualities. Some of the people, maybe they have 2 or 3 of these qualities. Some of the people, they have all of these qualities. But the one who has more, he needs to treat others with peace, love, and with honesty. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says a beautiful story as well. And Ayatollah Mutahari, he mentioned this story in his book as well. He says there was a person who was Muslim, and this person had a neighbor, and his neighbor wasn't Muslim. Maybe he was Christian or Jewish. And then this Muslim decided to make him Muslim. So he went to him and he told him, Habibi, I want to talk to you about Islam, my religion, about the truth. And then when he introduced Islam to him, he accepted Islam. And then he told him, okay, now you accepted Islam, let's go to mosque. We have a beautiful mosque, let's go to our mosque. So he took him to mosque for Salat al-Fajr. So they went a little bit behind Salat, before Salat al-Fajr. And then he told him, look, we have in our religion something we call it fasting. And if we fast, we get a lot of rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's fast today. And they both started to fast. They prayed Salat al-Fajr at mosque. When they finished Salat al-Fajr, the Muslim guy told him, Habibi, you know, we pray Salat al-Fajr, and now I want to recite some dua, some supplications. Let's stay in the mosque and recite some dua, and then we go home. So he started to recite some dua, and he was following him, and he was reciting as well with him. Then after ad'iyah, after supplications, he told him, look, if we go home now, and then we want to come back for Salat al-Dhuhr, and it becomes late. So let's start reciting some surah of Quran, and we stay here till Salat al-Dhuhr. We perform Salat al-Dhuhr here in mosque as well. So they stayed for Salat al-Dhuhr as well. Then after Salat al-Dhuhr, he said, look, Adhan al-Maghrib is like in few hours. Let's recite some other ad'iyah, other supplications, and then we pray Salat al-Maghrib and Isha here, and then we go home. So they stayed there and they performed Salat al-Maghrib and Isha, and then at night they went home. So they came to mosque before Salat al-Fajr, they went home at night. The next day, the Muslim guy went to him, to his neighbor, Salaam alaikum, Habibi, let's go to mosque again. He said, I'm so sorry. I cannot cope with your religion. It's very hard for me. I cannot accept this religion. And you ask me to leave my job, leave my work, leave everything, leave my family to come to mosque, and that's it. This is your religion? And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam explains that this person overloaded that person, and he gave him a lot. Even now, Muslim people, they don't do that. And they cannot pray at mosque like for Salat al-Fajr, Salat al-Dhuhr, staying at mosque and leave their job, leave their work, leave everything. So Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam wants to teach us this lesson, that people, they have different levels, different levels of patience. Some people, they can tolerate. Some people, they cannot tolerate. Some people, they are more patient. Some people, they have less patience. So we should be careful when we want to treat others. We should observe these points. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam continues, and he says, أما علمت أن إمارة بني أمية كانت بالسيف والعصف والجور. You didn't know that Umayyah government was based on the power of saif, sword, and force and oppression? وإن إمامتنا بالرفق والتألف والوقار والتقية وحسن الخلطة والورع والاجتهاد. But Our imamah is based on rifq, is based on moderation. والتألف, love. والوقار, يعني we treat people with dignity, with honesty, with respect. والتقية, sometimes we should not share all of the knowledge of our religion with others. Yeah? And sometimes we should keep them hidden. وحسن الخلطة, وحسن الخلطة, and good mixing with people. والورع, piety. والاجتهاد, يعني our imamah is based on ijtihad, effort. We are not lazy people. With love. And that's why one day Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, when he went to help the poor people of Bani Sa'idah, and when he helped them, and one of the people saw Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam there, and then he told Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, oh Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, none of them is the followers of Imam alayhi salam. None of them is Shia. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, yes, I know that. I want to help them. So this is the legacy of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, that if you want to treat others, treat them with love. Respect diversity. We are coming from different religions, different backgrounds, but it's fine. Respect all of them. Treat all of them with love and honesty. So, love was one of the maybe keys for the success of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam to spread the message of Islam. But one of the hidden aspects of the life of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam is the generosity of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And normally, we don't talk about the generosity of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Normally, we talk about the knowledge of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. But we have a beautiful story of the generosity of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, that one day a person, apparently he was coming from Sham to perform Hajj. So he was at mosque with Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he was reciting Quran, and he was performing salat or prayer. And at that time, it was only him and Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam at mosque, and no one else was there. So he had an expensive belt, and when he finished his prayer, he found that his belt is missing, is not there. So the only guy, the only person who was at mosque with him was Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So he went to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he accused Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam that you stole my belt. He didn't know that Imam is Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. And then Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam told him, look, how much, and does it worth? He said, oh Imam, he didn't say, oh Imam, oh person, it's worth like 1,000 dirham or 1,000 dinar. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam gave him 1,000 dinars or 1,000 dirham, and gold coin. And then he took the money from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and he went home. He went home, and then he found his belt at home. By the way, I'm sure that you know, the belt at that time was not only a belt. People at that time would put their money, their gold, whatever they had in their belt. It was a big belt. So he found his belt at home. And then he came back to the mosque to apologize because he accused Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. When he came to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he said to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, I'm really sorry. I found my belt at home. So now, this is your money. And you gave me 1,000 dirham, 1,000 dinar. This is your money, Imam. And I found my belt at home. I'm so sorry. I accuse you. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, thank you, but I cannot accept the gift that I gave you. We Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, when we give something, We don't take it back. This is for you. This is your gift. Take it. So this is a beautiful story of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, of his generosity. And there is a story that one of my teachers mentioned, and I would like to share this beautiful story with you as well. He was telling us that one day, and it's a true story, one day a thief came to one of the mosques and he was praying next to one of the people. And then he found that this person has an expensive ring. And the ring was on the ground, was on the carpet. While he was praying, he came and he took it. And he put the ring in his pocket. And then after the prayer, the guy called him and told him, please come here. Then he went to that person who was praying, and that person told him, look, I saw you that you took my ring. Now I want to give you my business card. Please take it. And when you want to go and sell it, they call the cops on you. He said, why? He said, because this ring is not an ordinary ring. This is a very, very expensive ring. And as soon as they see your appearance, your look, they know that this is not your ring. So this is my business card. When you went there and when you wanted to sell it, and when they told you that this ring it doesn't belong to you, just tell them that I bought this ring from this person. I'm going to call him. And they know me because normally I'm buying expensive rings. And he went to the shop, and when he wanted to sell it, they told him that this ring doesn't belong to you. So he said, okay, let's call this person. They called that person, and he gave them okay, and he sold it, he took the money, and he went home. But when he went home, he decided to change his life. He said, the life that I was living was the wrong life. I was stealing the stuff of people, haram. So he decided to change his life. That small incident changed his life completely. And then when that person who was praying at mosque, he died, this person who was a thief, he went to his burial and he participated there, and he was crying more than the son of that Hajj. He was crying too much. And they asked him, why you're crying? And then he told them the story. So, dear brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us tonight to gather here to learn from the lifestyle of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Inshallah, tonight we learned two aspects of the life of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. One of them was the love that Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam had toward everyone, and that's why he gathered 4,000 students around him. And the second lesson was about the generosity of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq, inshallah, to be among the true Ja'fari people. With Allah salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, we invite our dear brother Ahmad Rashid to bless our majlis. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
وعليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء يا ليتنا يا ليتنا يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما يا صاحب الزمان when will you take your revenge for the oppression of your grandfather? For Sadiq, the poisoned one. Oh my Imam, we know that you are here in this majlis. We know you can hear our pain. Ya Sahib al-Zaman, we know that you can see that we cannot bear this pain. Ilahi, we have all come together yearning for As-Sadiq, our dear Imam. Ilahi, they have poisoned our holy Imam. They have poisoned the grandson of your holy Rasul. How hard are the days after the Prophet, yet they have poisoned the flower of Rasulullah. Our Imams were all oppressed in their times. Some were poisoned and some were slain by swords. We send our condolences to you, Ya Sahib al-Zaman. Show us the way, Ya Ibn al-Zahra. My dear brothers and sisters, we come together for the shahadat of Imam Sadiq, who was there at the time of one of the most vicious of tyrants, who poisoned the Imam in the city of his grandfather Rasulullah, in the place that Rasulullah would walk. They would poison his grandson. What would happen? He would become poisoned by the order of Ma'mun. Some days would pass. Imam Sadiq would be laying on his deathbed. He would be calling for his family. He would be calling. He would be saying his last final wills. What would some of the will be? We all know that there is some times in the point of Imam Sadiq's life where he would emphasize on the remembrance of Imam al-Hussein. Where you could imagine he would say to his sons, "Oh my son, don't forget the murder of my grandfather Hussein. Don't forget how my grandmother Fatima was crushed behind the door and the wall." He would keep going on. Don't forget my grandfather Al-Hassan, who was poisoned, who was in my position, who vomited his liver. And don't forget my auntie Zainab, who from the weight of the calamity, they say her life would be shortened. Wa musibata wa ghariba. The Imam would be laying on his deathbed, he turning right, turning left from the pain of the poison. What would he do? He would begin to lose consciousness. He would begin to gain consciousness back. He would continuously recite the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would recite the verses from the Holy Quran until he would stretch his arms, he would stretch his legs, and he would leave this world. أين المنادي وجعفرا غمض لعينا بكفتي وقلبه غذايا لهب عليه يمسك لإيده بيدي ويحسس بنار القلوب ضم لصدره وانتحب Imam Musa al-Kadhim would be left to shroud the Imam. He would be left to perform the ghusl. But I want to ask you a question, and forgive me for this question. When you wash the body of your father, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, did you see on his body any marks from any tragedies? Did you see any ribs broken? Did you see like Imam Ali would see? Did you see bruises on his back from the whips? Wa Aliya wa Sayyida wa Gharib But did you see, and there is a step further, did you see his body without a head? Did you see what Sayyidah Zainab saw when she looked over the body? Did you see? Did you see the chopped up body of Abu Abdullah? صاحت يا سائق الأضعاف قفني هنيئة فها إخوتي فوق الصعيد يامون أغسل أجسادا لهم بمدمعي صاحت تعالوا 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 لبنكم غسلوا تعالوا 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 لبنكم غسلوا والجفن وياكم دجيبوا والجفن وياكم تجيبوا خلت الحسين مجدلا فقد مات عطشانا بشط فرات. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, please stand up and make a circle for some latmiya, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.